Hi, I'm Kylie, just another Army vet. Welcome to my channel. Alright, today is my very first Q&A, so I'm looking forward to this. I thought this was going to be a fun video to film, so what I did was I took all the questions that you guys asked and I printed them out. Now, if I missed a question of yours, then I certainly apologize. Question 1, am I a man or a woman? I am a woman. I just don't like having my hair down because bangs are just annoying. Who are you? Please give a short bio, your age, your profession now, about you and your family if you're comfortable. This kind of basic information. Do you still work for a living? I'm in my 40s. I'm married with 2 children. I don't work anymore. I'm a retired Army medic. I joined the Army back in the early 2000s, shortly after the war started. I retired from the Army a couple of years ago, and the only work I do is just raising 2 kids. Why did I start YouTube? I started YouTube in January of 2021, and that was during the pandemic, and I just needed a hobby. I needed something to do, and the only thing that I was kind of qualified to even talk about was the military. Initially, this was a military educational channel, but it has morphed into a reaction channel, which is fine. Reactions are fun, and I hope you guys are enjoying them. What is your favorite childhood movie? I am all into the Star Wars, the Goonies, E.T., Indiana Jones, all the classic 80s movies. When are you going to India? Do you like to travel to India? I have no plans as of right now to go back to India, but I would love to go. When I was in college, I did go to Chennai, Madras, and some of the surrounding area, and I really enjoyed it. So hopefully I can go back. How many countries have you visited? 28, and I had to write them all out actually. Mexico, Republic of Georgia, Kuwait, Iraq, Belgium, Spain, Italy, Vatican City, Monaco, Germany, France, Poland, Luxembourg, Czech Republic, the Netherlands, England, Ireland. In my semester at sea, I went to Canada, Japan, Hong Kong, China, Vietnam, Singapore, India, South Africa, Seychelles, Brazil, and Cuba. I think I remembered every country. I might have forgotten one, hopefully not. Also, do you have a special love for Eastern countries, or is it just a coincidence that everything you shared was from Eastern countries? Everywhere I've traveled to, I love and have some sort of special place in my heart for it, but I really did enjoy some of those Eastern countries, such as India and Vietnam. 1, because there are some stark contrasts between the U.S. and those countries, but 2, the people there are some of the nicest people you could ever meet. How did you decide to join the military? What made you join the Army? I have come from a long line of people in my family who have joined the military, and I always wanted to join the Army. It's been a childhood dream of mine, and plus I wanted to serve my country. What units have I been in? What was my first duty assignment after boot camp? I went to boot camp at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I went to AIT, or medic school, at Fort Sam Houston, which is in San Antonio, Texas. I was then at the Medac at Fort Sill, and that was my first duty assignment. And from there, I spent a year with the 10th Combat Support Hospital in Baghdad, and they were under 30th Med Brigade. While I was in Iraq, I re-enlisted to be in Germany, so I spent 6 years in Germany. First year was in 1st Armored Division. My last 4.5 or 5 years in Germany were spent in a medical company under 30th Med Brigade. Then I went to Fort Stewart, where I was in the Heavy Armored Brigade Combat Team under 3rd Infantry Division. And then my last unit was in the Field Artillery Unit for the Georgia National Guard. Have I ever been in a tank or helicopter? So yes, I have been in an Abrams tank, but that was just me climbing in and taking a look. And also in an Apache, same thing, just climbing in and taking a look. I've also been in Blackhawks and Chinooks while in Iraq. And I've also been in a civilian helicopter when my family went to the Grand Canyon decades ago. What is the most difficult situation I've been in abroad or in a combat situation? What was my most challenging mission? So I was lucky enough to actually never physically be in a combat situation. I've seen the direct aftermath of combat, and I've seen a firefight before in the distance, but I was never in a firefight or been blown up, which I'm eternally grateful for. But in terms of the most difficult thing or mission, it was probably just watching some expectant Iraqi kid that was blown up or something die. There was nothing we could do. It was in the middle of a mass cow, and that was actually one of the worst days in my entire deployment. I mean, the day ended with watching this poor kid die, and the day started with me watching one of our soldiers die in the barracks from an OD or suicide or something. That might be a story time in itself. It was just one of the most heartbreaking days of the whole deployment was that day. That, and then when I was on guard duty with the Australians and their buddy shot himself. It was just, yeah. So anyway, those are some bad days in Iraq, and those were the most challenging, just emotionally and sometimes physically. And it's, it's not fun to talk about. But one day I can share more information on those stories, though, definitely, in a story time, perhaps. Is there someone in the Army you served with that you remember fondly? Can you tell me about him or her? I've made a lot of buddies in the military, but the best buddy I've made was my husband. Do you think soldiers who fight for their country selflessly get the respect they deserve where you live? The support that soldiers and servicemen get in America is great. From people thanking you for your service, buying you a coffee, or the military discounts at restaurants and stores. I mean, yes, there's a lot of support for today's veterans. It was not the case during the Vietnam era, but now it is. Are you from San Antonio by any chance? Because most of them Army personnel are. So I'm from South Carolina. I'm not from Fort Sam, but I did go to medic school at Fort Sam, Houston, and that's where all the medical personnel are trained in the military. The Navy corpsmen and the Army and Air Force medics, and plus some of the officers going into the medical branches also have their own specialized training there as well. What is my most memorable experience in the military? The best training I've ever done was at Fort Sam, Houston, when I was stationed in Germany. And it was some of the coolest things I've ever done. And the sucky thing is that I'm not allowed to talk about it because I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. In general, though, my whole Iraq experience was very memorable, plus the time that I was in the Republic of Georgia training the Georgian Army when the whole Russia-Georgia conflict started. What do you think about the Russian-Ukraine war? What side are you on, Russia or Ukraine? So I don't like to get into politics on this channel, but I will say this. I'm for peace and Ukraine. Putin and his bigwigs are the ones I don't support. I just pray that this war ends soon. Your views on why Americans hate the East, especially Russia, China, and sometimes India. Recently saw when India abstained on the UN Security Council regarding recent war, many Americans on social media criticized India even though that this is not our war. It's not that Americans hate the East. We just don't get a lot of education on it. And Western media barely shows the East, unless it's Russia or China, essentially. And the reason why people were criticizing India is they don't know their history. India is looking out for India. They didn't vote for Russia or against. If Russia comes near the American border, how will it react? Probably with lots of bombs and bullets. Ever kill or shoot anyone while deployed? That's the worst question you could ask a combat vet. But the answer is no. So that's all the questions for now. Thank you for submitting your questions, and thank you guys for watching this. I hope you guys get a better idea of my background and who I am. And I wanted to do a special shout out to all my subscribers. You guys are awesome. And speaking of awesome things, I just hit 6,000 subs today and 800 subs on the Indian content channel today. So thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Until next time, here's some videos you'll check out.